Hello friends, hello from Vietnam. I'm at a beach in an area called Hoi An. It's an okay beach, it's nice. Not the best, but it's good enough. Anyway, I'm here to tell you about what's next. I have decided to leave the gig here in Vietnam, the theater that I was working with, because well, just musically and professionally it wasn't up to the level that I'm in agreement with, right? And for someone like me, you know, to play that kind of music night after night after night, it's not something that I want to be doing. So I'm gonna decide what to do. I either go back to Bali or I go to Hanoi, which friends in Hanoi have been telling me, come to Hanoi, come to Hanoi. There's tons of things that you would be doing here in Hanoi. So that is an option. These business decisions are always based on people that I know around the world and people that I get along with musically, especially, to be able to collaborate and make something beautiful happen, especially in the arena of quality music. I'm not driven by money, right? How much money I'm going to make, and how, that I don't care. I care about the time spent on this planet and what I'm playing. If I have to play awful music, I just don't care how much they're paying me. As you guys know, that's just the way I am. So it's either Bali or Hanoi. Hanoi I haven't been to yet, so it might be worth exploring at least and see what happens. There's a lot of see what happens. There's apparently quite a few jazz clubs and a bit of a scene, music scene, and well, it's tempting. Bali at the moment is going through a crisis. I don't know if you guys know, but the government has changed their trash policies, and local people are burning trash, and there's a lot of pollution issues and things of this nature that I just don't want to deal with. I was there a couple of days ago for some business that I had to do, and the trash burning and the traffic is just wow. I've never seen it that bad ever. It's a beautiful place, Bali, but they're having issues right now, and I just don't know if it's worth sitting there and dealing with that stuff when there's so many beautiful locations I could be in. Especially exploring music possibilities. Like in Hanoi, I mean, I know it's not the most beautiful city. It's a city, you know, it's not, there's no beach. I'm gonna be away from the beach, and that sucks. I mean, you know, I'm a beach guy, I'm a sea guy. So being away from this is painful for me. Although it's a very touristy area, as you can see, and not as pretty as some of the beaches in Bali, it's still the sea, and the air is pure, and there's a beautiful breeze, and you can feel at peace. You know, your blood pressure just goes down when you're here. Pretty awesome. But you know, in general, I have to be guided by music in the end. Musical choices, musical possibilities. You know, we're not here for a long time on this planet. We never know when it's going to be over. A friend of mine just passed away, a very famous, well-known guitar player. You know, very sad situation. He got food poisoning while on the road, and a young, you know, my age, super successful, super wealthy. Can't take any of that stuff with you. When it's your time, it's your time. And that kind of helped put things into perspective as well for me. When that happened, I got that news, I was like, oh my God, nah. fuck, you know, oh my God. That was very sad for me. So I got to thinking, you know, the people in this production are not up to par. The music is not up to par, although I really tried to get things to a level that are acceptable in most places, especially in the West. You know, we improved on the music, we mixed and mastered everything, we worked out all the drum parts. There's a lot of technical things that needed improving, and in the direction of the music and everything. And so I did what I could, and I had a great time in the time that I was able to put into it. But you know, the management and the bosses and stuff like that just don't have the experience in these type of things that is required to run a proper show. So for me, it's time to go and explore better things. That's just the way it is. I love doing production shows. I've done so many of them. But there comes a time when you just have to say, okay, that's enough for me, and move on to the next thing. That's that, especially in the wake of my friend passing away. That news was just so shocking. And I was sitting there thinking, what am I doing? I'm playing these songs that, you know, whatever. There's a few songs that were cool to play, but the rest is like, no. So that's what's going on. And I'm gonna start again putting a lot of effort into the channel here for you guys that have been wondering what the hell happened to me. I was just so busy with the show that it was just impossible to get the energy to do videos, draining energy. You know, by the time I got home, I was so tired. I just didn't want to pick up a camera or edit any more music or video or even speak, right? So that's what happened. But now I'm back, and we're going to get things up and running again. I'm going to keep you up to date on what's happening, on going back to Bali or going to Hanoi, Vietnam. I've never been there, like I said, so it's going to be interesting to see what direction life and music takes me. As you know, I've always said, if there's a gig on the moon, you go play the gig, right? In this case, you know, I made it here to Hoi An, and I enjoyed the good parts, and I'm ready to move on. Oh, this water is cold. This water is chilly, baby. Look, I've made the total transition to Asian shoe wear. Here in Vietnam, everybody wears these. So I decided to try one day, and I found out that they were very comfortable. They're like Crocs, if you don't know what they are. Crocs, but these are imitation Crocs. Real Crocs here cost like $100, and these I paid like 20, not even $20, $15. I mean, exact duplicates. It's ridiculous. There's tons of these shops here that sell duplicate things, which are probably the same actually, but you know, the real Crocs are distributed by the actual Crocs. These say Crocs on them and everything, so you can't tell them apart really. But yeah, so that's the story. In the last video I made about playing a production show, I did say, you know, you need an extreme amount of patience, people skills, ability to negotiate personalities and all that stuff. And you know, at some level that's all great, but what about music? You know, I'm not going to sit here and let my music suffer and let my drumming go to waste on this music that is, you know, frankly nothing interesting for me. Like I said, there's a couple of pieces that are like Vietnamese kind of ethnic tunes adopted into a little bit more modern context, and that was interesting for me. because I love world music and ethnic things, you know. So, but the rest is, you know, like pop tunes and things written in that manner to appease the general public, which I have no interest in that whatsoever. So yeah, the decision, Bali or Hanoi. Both have their drawbacks and favorable parts, so we'll see. Anyway, that's what's going on, folks. Just wanted to keep you up to date, and I hope you're well wherever you are. Peace out.